That was interesting.
Welcome, everybody, to the Evil Ewok podcast. We are all here for the first time in quite a while. But explanation real quick, Alex. It isn't actually live until it says live at the top here. It was still connecting, so I was stopping the intro because they weren't going to see it.
Oh, that's new.
That's something Kat and I learned like this last week and a half.
It was so funny. I put the auto display highlighted comments, and then we just see Alice going like, "Wow, wow, wow, wow." Hold on, I'll try that again. Whoa, everything looks different.
It's a whole new galaxy.
Everything looks different here. Who do we got? Okay, we got Alice,
Sean,
we got Shiny Boy, we got Captain Wrecked, we got Sal, we got
Grand
Charlie,
Moff
Grand Moff Tomkin. Welcome.
And lots of emojis.
Oh, Cat's still muted. I was like, why is Cat so quiet?
Oh my god, I'm an idiot.
We've got Charlie Chaplin down there.
Oh my god. What up, Serena? The Stanleys. I know everyone was probably like, hey, we can't hear a Cat, but they're not gonna. You know what? This chat doesn't say anything. They're just gonna let us like.
We would have gone 30 minutes of me with no audio.
Well, there was that one time where Alex was like a black screen.
Yeah,
30 minutes and nobody
like
was
you guys were giving subtle joking hints, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. Can you just tell me blatantly? Hey, look, I can't hear or see you at all.
If that ever happens again, chat, just say these words: Alex is blacked out and we can't hear him.
And not blacked out in the good way.
Somebody did comment, they're like, Alex is black, and we were like, I mean,
I'm like, that's my skin color, I guess. If that's how you want to interpret it that way.
I remember Tom commented like, Alex, you're looking well today, and I was like, oh, that's a nice thing to say. And then now it's like, oh, he was being sarcastic.
I was like, oh wow. I appreciate you very much, Tom. It's very nice of you.
You went home and you wrote that in your diary.
Yeah, I'm like, my best friend Tomkin decided to give me a compliment. And now it's all ruined.
Oh my god.
I was just so dead to go do something else. Yeah, we were just like nodding and saying.
So we're all just staring at each other, and Ray connects, like just having his face off.
Dude, it was like the funniest shit to rewatch.
I couldn't bring myself to rewatch it. I was like, I don't want to look like an idiot for like 30 minutes.
Dude, Ray, Kat, and Zach are just sitting there. For like 10 minutes, and I'm just like, is everyone else like just sitting here watching this happen right now? Like, what the fuck, man? So much dead air. It was like uncomfortable.
I remember there was a portion where I was like ranting about the Bad Batch, and it was like you and me were having a back and forth, Alex. And I watched that part, and I'm like, I look like an insane person. Like I'm just like talking to nobody.
Well, at least you were right, because there's no one else to oppose you.
What's up, Chewbacca?
Chewbacca in the hizzy.
I was too embarrassed to say something. I didn't want her to think I was being rude, but I was like, what's going on?
I was like, yo, Alex is black. And like, I mean, I'm not black, but sure. Okay, we can go with that. No, like your screen. Oh, see, now that would have made so much sense.
We live and we learn, you know?
Yes. We never repeat the same mistake twice.
It's like a lot of you guys just like to make jokes and have inside jokes all the time. So I also don't know when. I didn't want to be rude by acknowledging your schizophrenia.
Considerate.
Fair enough.
Very considerate.
Barbs, you got to come on sometime this month. You got to pop on.
I want to know who Barbs is.
He has a stream. You guys should go check out his stream.
Really?
Yeah.
Not anonymous or anonymous?
He's not anonymous.
Wait.
Unless I'm thinking about someone else.
I'm gonna start.
Barb, I need you to. I like how I call him Barb. I'm just gonna call you Barb. Both were because of excessive Taco Bell on the highway. Yeah, there's a lot of issues that will arise when you eat Taco Bell while you're driving. Just saying.
I don't like Taco Bell. It's a hot take. I'm not a big Taco Bell guy.
I don't like Taco Bell either. I like actual Mexican
Oh, let's
food, but
go.
if I am gonna eat Taco Bell, it's gonna be the quesadilla with a little Baja Blast.
Okay, Baja Blast. It might take 5 years
Oh,
off my life every time I drink it, but it's so good.
I totally forgot. Kat loves Taco Bell. Kat and Tom were like surviving off Taco Bell, weren't you guys? I forgot about that.
And Zach one time
Oh,
was like, Taco Bell is dog food. And I was
It
like,
is.
okay, I used to be of that opinion
Rat
until I
food.
tried it.
Or
Yeah, that's
they use rat meat to make.
Oh
I
my
swear,
god.
they catch the rats in their kitchens and then they grind them up, and that's what's in your tacos.
Taco Bell is
You
authentic,
know what?
and Baja Blast is so legit.
Have you guys have to have seen on TikTok that gonna go down to Taco Bell and get me a Baja Blast with the TIE fighter like sound effects? Or did I just sound like an idiot? No.
Wait, what'd you say?
There's somebody, they're like super fans on TikTok. There's a sound bite and it says, gonna go down to Taco Bell and get a blast. But they like make their voice sound like a TIE fighter, like the
That was
I
a
can't
thing?
even do it. It's
Oh,
on
the
TikTok.
Kylo Ren thing. Hold on.
I swear it's a thing.
Dude, Adam Driver can do the.
He can do a good TIE fighter
He
sound?
can do that. Well, because there's the joke about when he screams and you see the TIE fighter going. Do you remember that when it was like part of the meme of the day?
I do, yeah.
I gotta play that really quick. Hold on. Kylo Ren
Bring it.
TIE fighter.
Does that always happen? I've never noticed that before. How like the comments lift the emojis up and then drop them again.
The comments lift the
Ooh.
emojis.
Is that new?
What do
Thank
you
you,
mean?
Barb's Basement. I'm not crazy.
They lift? I didn't even
Yeah,
notice.
are they not lifting for you guys? They like
I've
lift
seen
up
them.
and then they drop again.
Mm,
after the
Whoa.
comment goes away.
Whoa. That's
You
nuts.
learn
That's
something new
That's
every
definitely
day.
new. Okay. Hold on. Is it sharing? Okay. Can you hear it?
Yes.
Yes.
This is my favorite movie.
It's just the best thing, is it not?
I've never seen this.
You don't remember this, Cat?
I have never seen this. What?
Oh god, it's so dumb, but I love it.
That's hysterical. Oh.
I want like a 6-hour cut of the original trilogy, replacing all the TIE fighter sounds with just Kylo Ren.
Do you guys know who Peter McKinnon is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know how he does like all of his own voice effects with his own voice? Like, he does like all the transition noises and everything with his own voice.
I know that now.
Okay, well he does that. So like I could just think maybe they should just hire Adam Driver to just create a sound library with his voice. Because he
They're
can
like,
just do the
Adam,
TIE better. You just
We
hear
need you to make some lightsaber sounds.
Have you ever considered voiceover, Adam?
Oh my god. Dude, I can't. Should we actually talk about the docket now?
Yeah, now that we're warmed up.
I
Okay.
cannot, Chewbacca. I can only do a decent Watto impersonation and a little worse Sid impression.
Oh my god.
I feel like there's a lot of range of what you can do, Zach. You just need to practice.
I should just become an impressionist.
Yeah. I'd hire
But
you, dude.
let's go to the docket, shall we?
El
Why
docket.
did we like these episodes, everybody? Because I assume we all did like them. Unless you hate them, Kat. I haven't
Kat-
talked to you about it.
Kat's actually totally fake on her channel. She comes on here to spill the actual beans. She's like, dude, I hated this shit. This was the worst thing I've ever seen. So woke, awful. I hate everything about it.
Blue Pantorans, those damn blue Pantorans getting represented.
No, if anything, I was scared that no. After I watched it, that was the most confidently that I've ever felt. Like, okay, Zach and Alex have to have liked those episodes. There's no way we're gonna go on tomorrow and they're gonna have shiz to say. I mean, they
You're
were
right.
like, these are the best episodes of the show so far. I think
Yeah.
even better than premiere of season 1. I would venture to say.
I think a lot of it was being on Coruscant. Coruscant just elevates the freaking game, man. Like something about that planet. It looks so good.
It did. It looked like live action almost in some
Yeah.
of the shots.
Like the Senate shot, the Senate building shot. I was like, I had to do a double take. I was like, oh my god, that looks like it's from Revenge of the Sith.
Right?
But we got like every. We've talked about this before. How we like there's each movie has like a different looking like sky of like Coruscant. How like it's kind of bright in the Phantom Menace, and then it's a little darker in Attack of the Clones, and it's like really dark and like sunset in Revenge of the Sith. And I feel like we got like all of it plus night in this one. Like we saw it in all different lights, which was
You're
cool.
right.
Is it just me, or does the animation quality change quite often between episodes?
I think I've noticed certain characters look better.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Yeah.
Like Rampart looked way better in this episode than he did prior.
One of the ones I noticed was remember the old dude from like the second episode this season who was on Sereno? He looked really good, and then you look at like he looks more realistic than like Omega or like Hanta. Like they're just like he looks more high def, and there's more like detail. There's like dirt on his face, and I don't know. I've noticed that where certain characters look more detailed.
Or maybe they knew there was going to be a Coruscant episode, so they had to get the detail down stat in order for the characters to fit in with the environment. They need to up their animation, so it would make sense, right?
Palpatine looked better, but like an evil Pinocchio, he was carved out of wood, and his voice was super gravelly in this one. Like,
yeah,
he sounded pretty scary.
Yeah, we'll get to Papa Palps. Ooh, who's Micah? What
Micah,
up, dude?
what's up?
What up, duder?
What up? What up? What up?
Ooh, look at those flames.
But yeah, I mean, I watched it. I watched it with the volume turned down a little bit because Amanda was still asleep when I woke up. But the second time I watched through, I actually got to listen for the music. Right, the music was so sick. It was very like basic, but it did the job, right? It was what Star Wars is. It needed to be. It needed to have that Gregorian chant, like under hymns of like, like gospel vibes, right? Like church vibes, a little like oh, and his beautiful carved out face and nose, and
chiseled
features, total alpha.
Yeah, dude, his chin could cut freaking watermelons.
Oh, for real.
Cut my heart. Be my Valentine. Steven Stanton.
Yeah, I think Steven Stanton voices. Does he do Tarkin?
Yes.
That was an impressive display.
Do you think we'll see Tarkin again? Like, they name dropped him this latest episode.
I love me some Tarkin.
I would love to see like a scene between him and like Rampart here post imprisonment or whatever's gonna happen to him. Like
I know why we haven't seen Tarkin though, because Tarkin knew that this was gonna be like a touchy subject and that he was already a part of it with Palpatine. That like, we're just gonna sink him. Like he's gonna take the rap for this. We had nothing to do with this one. And we can move on with our plan, right? It's so crazy how he's always like 2 steps ahead of everyone. Even I thought, I was like, okay, they're gonna get him this time, and how is he gonna get out of this or whatever? And he just like, no problem.
Leaned into it.
Yeah, he leaned into it, no problem. He's like, wow, this is awful. I didn't know any of this was happening, And it's like, not only the fact that this is what happens in politics and people turn a blind eye all the time or don't even really look into things too often, but the fact that we get to actually kind of see firsthand corruption in play as the audience. It's frustrating, but also very alluring because it has very real life implications, right?
Yeah, sadly.
Oh man, they're hailing me in chat. Thank
All
you, my
hail Lord
children.
Zach. You should create like the 10 Commandments.
That's what I told. There's this. I don't remember his name, but he was in the chat last time. I was like, go up onto a hill and create some commandments, and then bring them down, and you can be my Moses.
You should create like an animation. Who can animate? Someone just animate Zach climbing up and carving out the 10 Commandments.
Yeah, I wanted to say a couple things, but it's very like if that's true that Tarkin was working with Palpatine on this, it's very much like what he did with Krennic, where he's just like, I'll let Krennic fail.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And another thing was that I said on the watch party when I was watching it, I was like, watch, Palpatine's gonna like spin this into a good thing, and he's gonna say like it was good that we did this to Camino. But it took me by surprise, and he was just like, no, I didn't know this happened. But
he
isn't
did
it
do
kinda
that also.
Yeah,
He did
but he's
also
like,
do
but
that.
isn't it kind of crummy how the clones just like followed orders without question? He's like, we might need to look into that. It's like, oh, you
Yeah.
genius.
It's like, you son of a bitch.
Not
Hate
only
you.
did he lean into it, but he twists it to fit his
Narrative.
On that subject, we're gonna be bringing in stormtroopers. Yeah.
I thought you were introducing a guest, Kat. I was like, wait,
Oh,
who's
no, no,
coming
no, no,
on?
no.
Like, there's no one in the back end. What the hell are you talking
We
about?
have the animated
McDermott.
Palpatine.
We have Ian McDermott. Welcome.
Zach,
He's like, whoa, how
Alex,
did I get here?
got a surprise for you guys. We pulled some strings.
That would be incredible.
Could you imagine?
You know, I just was just thinking about this. Is Tarkin the only person indisposable to Palpatine? Because it seems like everyone else is always disposable, and Tarkin's the only one that never is like kind of seen in like a weird area.
Or is
and
it just that
taken off guard.
Tarkin is
or is
smart
this
enough to play
Tarkin
the game?
knows who to put in command for certain things for them to take the
Right.
fall? Because I Palpatine has to know the entire time like what's happening, right? And Tarkin's like, hey, like just use this guy. I'll be your first in command, right? And because like even in a lot of ways, Vader was even disposable, right, as shown in Return. So it's like, was Tarkin literally the only person where Palpatine was like, I trust you to do what needs to be done, and he kind of never failed him really until he died on the Death Star, right? So it's just,
I feel like he's been around long enough. I don't know. Go ahead, Zach.
I just wish that we got a Clone Wars arc, like or like more interaction between those two characters in the Clone Wars to kind of explain why he would trust Tarkin that much, because I mean, there's the Tarkin novel. I'm not really 100%. I don't remember. I read it a long time ago, but it's one of the earliest like canon novels, and it's about Tarkin. And I don't remember if it covers like why Palpatine trusts Tarkin so much, but I would have liked to see like a Clone Wars arc where they interact, and Palpatine's like, oh, I've got, I have high hopes for you, like similar to what he said to Anakin, like, we'll watch your career with great interest or something. But yeah, you're right, Alex. Like it's like Palpatine, and then he trusts Tarkin probably maybe more than even Vader, and then he trusts Thrawn pretty heavily when Thrawn comes around. But yeah,
it's such a cool thing to see how his brain works in terms of loyalty, even though he's not even loyal. He's just like, he probably assigns these things to Tarkin to do. And like, if he needs to fall on the sword for the Empire, he'll make Tarkin fall on the sword. But Tarkin's like, no, I don't need to do this. I'm gonna offshore, offload all the work onto this new guy, this Rampart guy. Which, by the way, do you think we'll see? You think we'll see more of Rampart, or do you think we're done for the most part?
I wanted to talk about that. I want to address Captain Rex's comment here real quick. But yeah, I liked the siren. I thought it was cool how it was just like everybody was like, what the hell? And
oh my god, it was amazing. And their reactions too, like they were freaked out. Like, I loved that. Sorry, continue.
We were talking about Rampart.
Yes.
I'm super interested. I think this is exactly what he needed, because now if we do see him again, he's probably not a big fan of the Emperor. And I wonder if he pivots away from the Empire or if he doubles down somehow. What do you guys think?
I agree. Like, because I remember, Zach, I was reflecting on how you and I were talking about, like, I want to see them develop him more, like Rampart, like, because we were talking about Callus, I think, right? Like, we were talking about other Imperial characters that had been more like fleshed out and Rampart was still like, we wanted to see some moves from him still. And then I was thinking that I was like, oh my god, yes, we finally got some Rampart like development here. And then 2 seconds later they arrested him, and I was like, oh sweet lord, no, I hope this isn't the end. But I agree. I think, what is going on?
What happened to
Right,
Gus?
did y'all see that?
I did
must
see
have
that.
Whoa!
been-
It was like a
it-
ghost. It was like one of those, like the lights turn off and then it turns back on and you're right in front of you. Yeah, like
That's
Bloody
just-
Mary, Bloody
He's
Mary,
just
Bloody
dead.
Mary.
God, there's like a demon behind her, and I'm just like, Cat, there's a demon behind you. It's like, fuck you guys.
Whoa.
Yeah, I want you to know if there was a demon approaching you from behind, I would let you finish your sentence before warning you. I
Thank
would
you.
not. I would not interrupt you.
Thank you. Could you imagine? We just wrote the screenplay for the newest horror series. A group of podcasters who zoom in, and then one of them gets attacked on stream, but they let them finish her sentence first.
I think that could work well in a crowdfunder campaign. I think everyone would want to fund that movie or series.
Oh my god!
But yeah, I mean, I was, in terms of Rampart, I was like really excited to finally see, how he deals with someone getting the better of him, right?
Yeah.
And it was unfortunate that he didn't really have answers and that he didn't know how to handle it, because he's always so confident, right? He never had any issues with convincing people, or he's known as like a good like diplomat in a way, right? And a good speaker. And he kind of failed miserably in this case because they got the better of him. But I do think it's cool to see another side of Rampart that's vulnerable, right? He's like, they were my orders. Like you actually see the real Rampart come out, right? Because everything else before that is all an act. And now we finally see him like, I was told to do this. The Emperor's a clown. You know what I mean?
The
like
first truthful thing that's come out of his mouth.
Yeah, and his tone is different. I don't know if you noticed when he realizes, oh shit, I'm fucked. Like his demeanor is completely different than I guess
he
when
had the
was trained to.
same look in his eye as Dooku does when he turned back around and looked at Palpatine.
Oh, yeah.
And he had the same look of like betrayal and like, what? I thought we were in this together.
Yeah, the Dooku one is fucking so sad when you really look back on it. It's like, oh my god.
I know, especially now that we've gotten like Tales of the Jedi. But yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah, because Rampart, like, I've never seen him talk or like hear him talk like that before. Because usually he's just like this, and he's like, yes, everything's under control, and then he just started panicking, and it's like, oh, you're definitely not in on this.
When Maul like lashes out, he's like, "You're all going to die."
Yeah, exactly.
I was following orders.
Good soldiers follow orders.
Wow, could you?
I would have liked to have seen him like get really mad and angry and just kind of say all sorts of stuff, and then he just gets escorted off, right? And then like who knows what happens? I don't know. We'll probably see him in prison or something, or he'll get processed or whatever. I really don't know. I really don't think we'll see him more. I mean, I can't imagine them having like an arc where he's breaking out of prison. Right? I don't see that happening.
Sid,
you know what happens to good-looking guys like him in prison? Yeah, but I got a convict. I need you to break out.
It's like after that episode. They're like introducing Sid and Rampart.
Oh my god!
A Star Wars series.
Yeah.
Admiral Rampart's been a pain in our butts. Well, he's highly valuable. I can't do Sid as well as Zach does.
He's got so much information about the Empire we can use to make a lot of credits. By the way, Omega, that drink you just had is worth 2 billion credits. You're gonna have to work to pay that off. It's not fair, Sid.
It's like, but I saved your life, Sid.
Oh.
Yeah, but I mean, okay. So there's that part, and then just the overall entrance in which he kind of rose up, because they kept hinting like, hey, look, the Emperor's not showing up to these events because it's not important enough for him to show up, right? And it's very emblematic of like, I don't know, like Hitler, like he wouldn't show up to all the meetings, but when he did, everyone was like, oh, do you see how Rampart like fixed his posture immediately?
Even he got nervous.
Like they would for the Fuhrer, right? Back in, Nazi Germany. And it's like very cool to see how much power he has and how much everyone fears him, right? But he also has a lot of loyalists that you can see in the what's that chamber called? The where they all talk politics and
the Senate chamber.
Senate, yeah.
Is it a Senate chamber? Is it called something?
I don't know.
They just call it like the Senate building, or
okay.
The Senate chamber sounds right.
Well, in the Senate chamber, right, you see kind of how a lot of people are just silent, right, and they don't really say much, and then he has his loyalists, which kind of make up a majority of the echo chamber that he's created in his Senate, to slowly battle out everyone, right?
Too soon.
But I mean, it's just really cool to kind of see the politics around Star Wars after Order 66, right? And how he's still scheming and still plotting. It's not over yet, right? He still has to do all this like all these dirty, manipulative things to not only the senators but to his own admirals. So he's ruthless, man. He is ruthless, and it's really cool to see.
It made me, honestly, I was like terrified, like, because he's been so recluse and has been so, hands off or whatever. I was so scared to be like, to think like, how effing pissed is he that he had to drag himself out here to like put on this show, like, because he doesn't show himself so much. Like, I was just like so scared, and he put on like the friendliest, obviously he's so conniving and sneaky persona. And again, I was reminded of, because Zach and I were like, how did the rest of the senators not realize, like, he looks evil? He just looks rough. He looks so rough. How are none of them whispering behind his back, like, doesn't he look like a villain? Even his voice is still like, even despite like the nature of his words and being like, I can't believe this, like, his voice still, like you guys said, like, sounded gritty. Like, I just can't.
It's like he's possessed by a demon. Like, that's what he looks like.
He forgot to fill up his Brita water before.
Yeah.
He didn't have any water before he was waiting for it to filter all the way down. And then
imagine.
I gotta get up there.
God, can somebody Masameda, can you get me a freaking drink?
Can we please invest some of this fucking Brita?
Where's my Evian?
I'm goggling marbles here.
It is time for a new Brita.
Like, that's better. Okay, a Camino. Super unfortunate.
Oh my god!
Like, what's the talking point for today? It's like, oh, everyone's pissed off about the Camino thing. It's like, oh yeah, the whole we're gonna throw Rampart under the bus order. Yeah, okay. Are they in there right now? Okay, hold on. Let me go in my little ship.
Well, do you think he was planning? Do you think he was planning on coming out, or he wouldn't have shown face if they hadn't found that evidence?
You know what I would be even more impressed with is that he didn't even have this plan. He just thought of it in the moment.
Well, he probably had contingencies, but yeah. I think he wasn't planning on it. I think he was just planning that Rampart was going to do his job, and then when he realized Rampart screwed up, he was like, all right, gotta go save the show.
That's why I'm like so scared for Rampart, because Palps was probably pissed that he had to even go up there and do damage control. I mean, part of him probably was relieved, like, and relishing it that he could then segue into his, trooper program. But I'm so scared, like, because what purpose do they even have for Rampart now, if any?
I don't think they do. I think he's just gonna rot in prison. I honestly, like, I think that Palpatine would have found Rampart to be a useful subject. Like, he was pretty, like, all in for the Empire. He was he's like
to be done too.
Exactly, yeah. and ultimately he had to sacrifice a pawn to take the queen or whatever in chess terms. So I think this wasn't the best case scenario for him, but he still got what he wanted.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
It was so soul crushing, like, at the end when the Bad Batch is like, we literally played right into his hands. Like, this is our fault. I was like, I loved these 2 episodes, but this sucks. Like, I wanted them so much to just start getting involved. Like, I literally could not have asked for 2 better episodes. Like, I could not have even dreamt that this is the direction it was going to go. And now that they do get involved, it's like, great. Are they going to be turned off now from actually doing something meaningful and just stick to Sid missions?
The ending of the episode left such a bad taste in my mouth because it basically felt like this. They're like, damn, that sucks. Back to go do some more missions for Sid,
though. Yeah. It's like,
we can't do any more harm doing that.
Like, this would be so much better if it wasn't if the Bad Batch wasn't the focal point of the whole show, right?
Yeah.
Like if it was just
Yeah.
like Clone Wars season 8 or Tales of the Clones or some shit like that. I don't know. Like just something where it's like you get to see different aspects of the world post Order 66, and it's not just like how the Bad Batch are surviving, right? Because there's so many more cool, interesting stories as shown here that could be even either made or told that we haven't seen in animation or live action form, right?
They should have called it The Dark Times, and it should have been basically the same thing as the Clone Wars, same style of animation, same style of storytelling with the anthologies, and like it's not necessarily linear, and you can follow all different kinds of characters. It would have been so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just would have had more wiggle room. Like, there's so many different.
There's no need for filler then. Like you could just do so many things.
Well, there's several different subplots going on. Like, right, if the show were to, as is, they now have totally set up. Create a plot point for Crosshair and follow that. Create a plot point for the Bad Batch, follow that. Create a plot point now for Echo and Rex, follow that. Like, there can be. I guess you don't have the same liberties when it's a 25-minute episode versus. I guess I'm comparing it to like Game of Thrones, where like yeah, you can have 50 different plot points going on at once that all eventually converge or not, but it shakes things up so you're not just following a core cast the whole time, which is like what made Clone Wars and Rebels so good, is that there were different, like maybe more so with Clone Wars versus Rebels, but
right,
there's, especially during this time period, like if the Bad Batch isn't gonna be engaging in any form of rebellion, then it's really just like there are more exciting things to be exploring. Like literally, like Senator Chuchi, like the political. They finally like tapped into the politics in this episode, which I've just been like craving so much. I'm just so hoping that like we don't go back after this. Like
we're
what
going
is
to.
It's gonna happen. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's just what has to happen. We have like 8 episodes left, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they wouldn't have split the team up like they did, like if they weren't gonna just go back and work for Sid. But you hit it right on the head, Kat. It's like they're not following the most exciting things that are happening currently. It's like it's like a news broadcast. There's like a huge car chase going on, and instead of showing that, they're like, "And wow, we're gonna go to the old folks' home and show you bingo with seniors." It's like
Yeah.
that's what we're doing. Like I don't want to watch the Bad Batch fight giant praying mantises while they're trying to get treasure or something. Like, and it has nothing to do with anything else. I don't want that. Like I want the politics like we got in this episode. I want like this, like what's the deal with the clone assassin that had his like numbers scrubbed and they didn't know who he was. Like show me what Rex is doing, show me what Tucci's doing in the Senate, show me what Ahsoka's doing at the time, show me what all these characters are doing, show me what all these different planets are going through. Like that's what I'm interested in. I don't care about the Bad Batch. I really don't, and it's unfortunate because that's the show is called The Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Well, now it's like the most exciting members. Crosshair is the coolest one of all of them, the most dynamic, has the best fleshed out storyline. Like, I would venture to say I know more about like Crosshair than Tech or Wrecker now, who are other than Hunter, the two surviving members here left. Like, and Echo, they were developing him to have like his own POV and start thinking for himself. And again, Alec or Zach and I had talked about like, yeah, they never really Echo's had like 3 lines the entirety of this whole show. Like they haven't even tapped into him necessarily, and they finally did acknowledge like, yeah, like they saved me, you know, I was part of the team now. I was like, oh my god, yes, this is the stuff I've been wanting to hear
Yeah,
from
we
him.
finally got something. Yeah, we finally
And
got something for
then
him. And then quit
Exit stage left.
Yeah. You had your moment in the sun. Don't let it get to your head. Now get out of here. Yeah. Here's your last paycheck.
He needs more moments in the sun. That dude is pale as can be.
Yes. In more than one way, for sure. But like the one thing that I know we're not going to touch on, or even if we do, that'd be great, is, you know, obviously we haven't talked about the assassin yet, but we can go into like how that assassin was probably, you know, he probably had his chip altered or whatever, same way as what they probably would want to do with, I don't know, like Cody, or what they've done with Crosshair, right? And they're probably doing that and having them. That's their only logical reasoning. A lot of them don't realize that's what's happening, but the only logical reasoning for the assassin turning on his own brothers is through manipulation of the chip that they have in their head. So I'm like thinking, will we get into like Cody? Will there be a situation where they have to either assimilate Cody back in with it by capturing him and changing his chip, or will it be like who knows what's going to happen there? I don't know if they're going to touch on it, but it would be great if we do get actually some closure with Cody here. It's not just like Cody's like, I don't like this, I'm out. Right?
For a second I thought that might end up being Cody. Like as he was unmasking him, I was like, oh, what if Rampart like caught Cody deserting and then did something to him, and now
based off of the way he said Rex like so confidently, like he knows him. There was also a couple other videos that I saw where they were talking about how he was another clone.
Slick, right? Or whatever
yeah,
his name.
or Slip or whatever. Yeah.
Slip, yeah.
But then a lot of people were saying, no, he's already dead. And they were saying, wait, no, he's not. And I'm like, I forget, right? But it is cool now that we have people, having their theories, or we're finally getting back into like what Star Wars is, where you can kind of make guesses at what characters are which, and why they are the way they are, and where these things are, and who's behind the scenes here or there, and what this scene means, and the Easter egg we missed there. It's like little things like that are what makes Star Wars so special, right? And when you have side quests where, like you said, they're going on a mission to make money, and then at the end of the day, at the end of the episode, it's the same way it started. It's not going nowhere. It doesn't add to the lore, it doesn't add to the fandom. Everyone's going to forget about that episode the moment it airs, right? But the worst episodes like this are add more to like the politics, and add more to the character developments, and add more depth to all these characters that were shown, especially Palpatine too. And he has like the same demeanor in how he delivers. He's like, but I assure you, like, my resolve
has never been stronger. See ya, Alice. Have a good weekend.
Bye, girlfriend.
Later, Alice. Good to see ya.
You guys are pointing out a good thing though, and I feel like though this show it's beginning a trend of, I mean, hopefully they are loose ends that get tied up eventually, or at least readdressed. But like season 1 introduced all those cloning things, what the surviving Kaminoans were doing in that facility that we have yet to go back to. Like that was the massive cliffhanger of season 1, and it has yet to be addressed this season. Like, Omega's purpose, like being hunted down by Cad Bane, Fennec Shand, like all of those cool things. It's like, oh, explore those. Like, yes, I want to know more about those. Like season 1 cliffhanger, like, oh my gosh, I hope this sets up for learning more about why she's so important to the Kaminoans in like season 2.
I forgot about
like,
that. You're
because
right.
they're exploring it.
Yeah.
So now I'm nervous because it's
Cat
like
broke her mic there.
sorry. But right, like I can't stop thinking about that. I'm like, this is the biggest. You have this as the cliffhanger, but then like, why are you drawing it out? Like, I want to know more about that. Same here now with this clone whose identification number was erased. Like, what the F are they doing to these clones? Like, what's going on in there? Like, I want to follow when you plant, follow it. And it's just, I don't know if they're gonna do that, because as we've seen with season 1, like there's plot points that they still haven't readdressed, and it's middle of the second season now.
It is bizarre, like the way they've handled this in terms of storytelling. I've talked about this at length, but it's really baffling to me how you could argue we still don't have like a main goal of the Bad Batch, because they pretty much were just like, damn, he played us, let's go back to Sid now. And it's like, this was your freaking avenue to get involved, and they didn't do it.
And then
Echo did,
like,
but they
Echo's
didn't
like,
do
I
it.
need to save my brothers, and then Hunter's like, well, fuck that. Later.
Good luck. Good luck.
Hunter's like, nah, man, I'm not doing that shit.
Nah, bro. And then Omega's like, Omega should just stay with Echo. He'd be like, fuck you, Hunter. And then
Hunter.
I'm telling you, she's going to be the saving grace, because she's going to be like, we need to freaking actually start doing something. Stop worrying about laying low just because I'm a 12-year-old. Let's actually like make use of our lives, like, and all of our enhancements. Like, I'm serious. I'm rooting for this. I'm praying this is what happens, because clearly Hunter is not going to be swayed. And Tech and Wrecker, I've never seemed to have a POV about it. Like, other than I think they were all just fed up of doing missions for Sid. Like, please.
Yeah, but Tech puts up with too much, and then he just thinks logistically about everything, except for his how he feels emotionally, which is something I've noticed. Like he'll just think logistically in terms of like actually computing a mission and how to be most efficient there. But it comes down to how he feels and what he thinks should be done. He's just like, yeah, I mean, I guess there's that side. There's two sides to everything. I mean, I don't really know what side I take. I'll just follow until I'm needed, right? That's kind of the vibe that Tech's been giving me.
A
And
Wrecker
then
doesn't have thoughts about anything.
and then
He's
Wrecker
just,
doesn't know how
I
to
want to smash stuff.
yeah.
But yeah,
Ay.
she is older than them, so she could play that card. She's
that's
like,
right.
I'm older than you, Hunter.
Oh my god. That's a good point,
It's
actually.
it's driving me crazy, and like you just kind of opened my eyes, Kat. Like it's Hunter's fault. Like this whole time I've been like, Hunter's kind of my favorite of the group, but it's his fault. He's the reason that they're not doing anything because he's like, oh, we can't endanger Omega, and it's just like it's killing the show
and
for me.
like no one like questions him either. Like obviously in the first season when Crosshair questioned him, we were just like, wow, Crosshair's being a dick. Like just listen, you know. And now it's like, oh, now I get it, right?
I get it. No, because even in this episode, Rex was like, I need you to come to Coruscant. And Hunter's like, it's kind of dangerous territory. And was
Yeah.
it, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it like, I think Echo had to be the one to be like, we'll meet you there. Like, we're coming. Like, Hunter is the problem.
Hunter's like that friend who never wants to do anything. You're like, hey, you want to go? Let's go to the sports bar, watch the game tonight. I'd rather just stay in and watch Netflix. It's safer.
Yeah, he's like, it's safer. It's like, yeah, but we won't have any electricity tomorrow. It's like, we'll figure it out. You know?
We'll play cornhole in the living room.
Yeah.
Or something.
Well, now I wonder how this is going to impact things, because Rampart was so desperately trying to did we ever establish whether we think that Rampart actually believes that the Bad Batch escaped, or if we think he knew, like if he actually legitimately thought that they had perished on Camino and wasn't lying and was like, no, they're presumed dead, or if he has any inkling that they maybe are still out there, and if he was just concealing it for, you know, like his sake and whatnot, to not let that get out, because that would be like a big deal. Like with him being removed now from authority, do we think that might change in any way, shape, or form, that they're going to end up on like a most wanted list now or something? Like,
well, it depends on how mad Palpatine is that he had to come out and save the day, so to speak. Because if he doesn't care, I don't see it changing. But if he's like, whoever stole that data from his ship, fuck them. We need to hunt them down. So
true.
Yeah, he's kind of a piece of shit. Okay, I have there's this really funny video where it's like basically every Bad Batch episode that I saw.
I was telling Kat about this. Yeah.
Oh, let's watch this. Yeah, this is so funny. I like how it's in the format.
PTSD.
Yeah.
All right, gang. Just like a college student, we're in crippling debt, and we need to find some jobs to get some credits. Yeah, I want to blow stuff up. Now remember, Omega, we're going on a dangerous mission, so you gotta stay close.
Okay, Hunter. Following orders is more strategy. We're going to need a plan. You guys try to come up with something, and I will remind you all of how unlikely it is to survive. What do you think, Echo?
Where's Omega?
You're trapped. And now I'm going to kill you.
That's just your chip talking. I know deep down you're really a nice guy. Even though you burnt down that village, murdered the townspeople, and destroyed their crops, I know you're still a nice guy.
Simple, brother. Now I'm going to kill you and the girl.
Omega, you saved us just in time.
Yep. Cause that's my strategy.
Well, I guess you can hold your own in battle. I won't worry about you anymore. Except until the next episode.
I think we all learned something very important today. Right, Echo?
I found Lulu.
It's so accurate. Like it's funny and it's accurate.
Dude. I just came
Oh my
across that and
God.
I'm like, why is this recommended? And I watched it. I'm like, oh no. Oh no. I couldn't
If
be
that
better.
person voiced every character,
What up,
they
Maria?
did a great job. Is Omega a cowboy Australian?
My strategy.
Because that's my strategy. Yeah. No,
Okay, Hunter.
it's like, but that's literally like in a nutshell. That's what the show has been most of the time, right? And then we get a couple gemstones of episodes that like really add to the lore. Otherwise, it's literally that, and we're just like, what the fuck?
I swear to God, like the specifically the Hunter and Omega thing from that video is so accurate with season 1. It felt like every filler episode was like Omega wanting to do something dangerous, Hunter being like, "No, you can't do that," and then Omega does it and proves that she can hold her own, and then Hunter's like, "Wow, you've really, I guess you're more formidable than I thought," and then the next episode is just repeat. It's like
It's like, wow, you've done this 14 times now, and I still am not convinced. I gotta protect
yeah,
you.
maybe I'd try it another 3 more seasons, Omega. Then maybe I'll.
Like, not only did you leap 20 feet over a crab and kill a bunch of crabs with your bow and arrow, but I don't know. It's yeah, the dad complex thing needs to stop. Like that was I understood that in the beginning, but it needs to end now. And then the whole Echo and Omega thing was great because we got like a little bit more diversification in terms of you know, figureheads for Omega, because I feel like Hunter's no longer doing it anymore. You can only beat that horse as beat a dead horse as often, whatever, you know. And it's just like, I mean, it's at the moment, and the thing the cat was also saying is the moment it gets to the point of like actually building to something that's really cool, it always ends, right? Especially in this show, more than ever, we get to when we build up something really awesome and we're immersed in this new world, or this episode's really great, and then the next episode we go right back to God knows what, right? And I can only hope that maybe this is like the catalyst. We always say this. I hope that now this is the catalyst.
We're a broken record.
We're a broken record. A catalyst for like now every episode's gonna be like pushed forward somewhere. We're gonna go somewhere. Every episode now it's gonna add a lot more to Star Wars, and it's gonna be great. But
oh, you kids are going somewhere next week. I'm sending you to this outer rim planet to find these seashells that have pebbles inside of them. We can sell the petals for credits.
I really feel though like these episodes stuck out so drastically and literally like truly were on par with the Clone Wars in a way that I feel like this show has yet to reach. And maybe that's biased because you know I love the Clone Wars. I don't know if that's coming from bias or not, but I felt like these episodes, how can it not be a shift? They were so well done in every way, shape, and form, and so drastically. Sorry, I heard a crashing sound.
It's a demon.
the demon is here.
It sounded like something fell outside.
The Britta's coming alive.
The Britta's like, I'm finally full. But how can these episodes? How can this not be a turning point? I feel like it's not even like, oh wow, that was a really good episode. Like episode 3, I would argue, like, oh my gosh, that was really good. These though were on a whole different level, like, right? Or am I just do I have rose-colored glasses on right now?
It feels like 2 different production teams. Like it feels like they have like these heavy hitters who come in like 3 times a season, and they're like, all right, here's like Clone Wars style quality episodes, and then the rest of it's like, okay, Hunter, let's go do this, and just Sid missions, and it's I'm tired of it. It's wearing me down. Like I don't want to do this no more.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
I'm tired, Mama.
Too damn bad.
Yeah, as much as I agree with this, we're also in a state with Star Wars where we need good stuff, and like just to get us over the edge, because we're just so needy for good content, right? And also, I think most of the seasons had like over 20 episodes, right? So there was a lot of room
Yeah.
to just kind
Yeah.
of do stupid shit.
There was a lot of wiggle room mixed in there. That's true. That's why I'm like, maybe I'm biased because Clone Wars is over now, so I can look back and I remember just like the good stuff that stuck out. But that's a good point. There's a lot in between that you have to trudge through sometimes to get to that good stuff.
Very true. Emojis. Oh yeah, Alex. We at the end of each stream, we ask the chat to basically rain on us with emojis. That's like
But
our
on
tradition.
Tuesday night, Zach and I were like, all right, guys, make it rain. And somebody commented one emoji, and everyone else had probably like left to go watch the episodes. So we were sitting there for like 20 seconds,
just
like, oh my god, no, please.
Someone
I
just
brought
send
my
emoji.
umbrella.
They're like,
Oh,
I'm gonna
for
sign in
this?
on my account and make it rain myself. Then
Oh my
that's so
god.
funny. You're just like sitting there, like I'm waiting, and it just never comes.
Clone Wars had a lot of 5-episode arcs. Yeah, I really liked the arc style of storytelling that Clone Wars used because it let you, I guess, like you knew what to expect. Like you knew what next week's episode was going to be usually. And also they would show you at
True.
the end of the episode. They'd be like, "Oh, coming up next week on the Clone Wars." Now it's just like a guessing game as to whether we're going to get a good episode or we're going to get a Sid episode. And I don't like that.
I wonder if Sid's gonna be like pissed off they're losing manpower. She's like, did I say you could let him go? He owed 5 billion credits still.
The debt's just quadrupled. 4 more seasons of Sid episodes.
I know they just have an announcement at the end of the episode. Like Sid has her own spin-off, and then Zach just like throws his TV.
I just grab my laptop.
It's like I
heat
give
it
up.
on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Is there actually a demon in your room, Kat?
It sounds like it's raining. I don't know what's going on.
It's the sound of
It
emojis.
stopped. I think it's just Tom washing his hands, but it sounded like it was raining.
you're like, oh yeah, Tom lives with me. I forgot.
It's not a demon, it's just Tom.
It's just Tom.
That's a relief.
So did you guys want to talk about like Echo, Omega, Rex, and Echo? Like the fact that did we even talk about Rex at all?
Barely.
A smidgen.
That boy's not wearing his armor anymore.
Yeah.
It was cool
Makes
to see
me-
him appear when he was most
Yeah.
needed. Like he always does.
Yeah.
He's just invincible.
Yeah. He was pretty OP as well. They took him to the they were in the Martez sisters shop, right?
I
Yeah.
like how they were
Yeah.
specifically like, he's like, they're not around right now. I feel like I know.
Yeah,
everybody
and they're like,
hates-
oh, I wonder why they did that.
yeah.
They're on vacation right now. Wonder why.
What a convenient time to go on vacation. Well,
They're hanging
everyone
out
who-
at Sid's bar.
just keep them all somewhere else while we handle real story development really quick.
A book of Sid. Sid goes to Tatooine to try to kill Baby Fortuna.
Oh.
We just see like Sid on the throne in Jabba's palace. We're just like, okay, what's happening now?
Doom, 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 doom. The
love
Book
how
of
when
Boba
Andor
Fett
picks
theme
up-
comes on.
The multi-episode arc style storytelling, it's horrible, but people forget the Clone Wars was first to adopt that style.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh
thought
yeah, like
Andor's-
people were saying like they hated that multi-episode arc. I'm like,
It's-
dude,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
so good though. It's like, come
Yeah.
on. How do you guys not? It's like, what the fuck do you want? Do you want
I will
just like
say-
a side quest each episode? I don't understand.
There is a difference between like a 3-episode arc within 25-minute format versus like some of those were 40 minutes. Like I can see, I guess it's a little more tolerable when it's shorter form versus more drawn out, but
We need. I feel like okay. I'm sorry, but Disney
Say
they
it.
need to put out like hour-long episodes for shit. They need to stop with this like 15 minutes, 22 minutes, 35 minutes. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like
Whoa.
just look at HBO, man. Like they're killing it. They're sinking a lot of money into stuff. I mean, I don't know if they just that's just kind of they didn't think it mattered the time. But it's like if you're releasing weekly like that, there's a problem when it's so short because people start to like. I don't know.
What's the
It feels like
standard these
it's not enough.
days? I think there's not a single new show I feel like that I watch anymore where the episodes aren't at least like 45 plus minutes long.
Like a good
Yeah.
show, at least, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
every show
like
that's good is long. Maybe they're cutting corners and just trying to get content out. I don't know, but I mean, I feel like if you're gonna have a 45-minute episode for a show or an hour-long episode for a show, you generally have to be really diligent about the writing and the storytelling and make sure it's really good because it's a lot of money you're spending, right? So I don't know if that's what they're doing, but it's just
I
ridiculous.
don't like how we get there's so much like variety in like the run times of of episodes in a season of something. Like specifically, this happens with Mandalorian and Kenobi, where it's like you'll get a 45-minute episode, but then you'll get like a 30-minute episode or like a 28-minute episode, and it's like I just want to know every week that we're getting 45 minutes. Like just do that. Like why are we just like guessing it? Like I remember when we would do a watch party for Mando, it would be like, oh, how long's this episode, guys? And then we'd check. It'd be like, oh, it's like a 40-minute episode. We're good. Or it's like, oh, it's like a 30-minute episode.
Yeah, like
it'd be like
we like literally relate quality over how long the episode is,
yes,
and we shouldn't
yes.
do that. That shouldn't be a thing.
right. I was gonna, but I think it's because that's just the expectation nowadays across all platforms. Like I think that's just what we've become accustomed to. It's the norm. Like I think the runtime dropped for the Last of Us season finale. I don't even think it clocks 45 minutes. It's like
Each
43
episode
minutes
is
long.
different. For The
Yeah,
Last
and
of Us. It's
people were
crazy.
pissed. Like people were like, "What?" Like inherently, you see that, and it's like, "What? You're kidding me!" Like I want more. But
Yeah,
that's
it means
a
it's
good
probably going to
point.
be a
It's like,
cliffhanger. Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen, right?
but also like if you can create a really amazing episode within 40 minutes or less, like then it shouldn't matter how long it is. Like, but I think it's such the norm these days that it's like expected. If I see like going into Kenobi, I was expecting those episodes to all be an hour,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah,
with only 6
yeah.
of them.
That was just really dumb. Yeah, The Last of Us episode 3 was like an hour and 12, right? Or something like that. And I did not even notice it. I thought they were all going to be the same length, right? So at the end of
Yeah.
the episode, I'm like, wow, what time is it, right? Because we watched it like an hour after it premiered.
Mm.
'Cause we were doing some. I don't remember. We like came in late and we were watching it late, and then I'm like, wow, that was a long episode because we were all broken up about the episode, right? Like we were sitting there like,
Yeah.
wow, like, what a great episode. And like I went to talk to everyone about it. I went to put the poll on my channel, and see what everyone thought. Aside from all that conversation we had, I just can't get over how an hour and 12 felt like 45 minutes, but in the best way, right? Because it was immersive. It was great. You got to handle all different sides of great writing and storytelling, and handle like two characters which you actually really liked, right? It's not like one character you like and the other character you can't stand, or you're sick and tired of the same shit happening over and over again, right? I don't think there's a single character in The Last of Us that I don't like.
Yeah, I can't
Right?
say either.
Yeah, I can
'Cause they're
understand
also
the
complex.
issues. Yeah, I can understand the issues with maybe well,
Wait,
first
off, Zach, have you caught up yet?
When you say caught up, do you mean have you even
do you
watched
mean
it?
started?
No,
Yeah, no.
Zach.
I've
Oh,
been
so-
busy. I'll watch it eventually.
You know
Please
what? You're
watch it,
kind of
dude.
smart though, because at this point you can just binge. We're already like almost halfway there because episode 5 is coming out tomorrow, so we're gonna be over the halfway point. So
Oh my god, it is! I forgot.
yes, it snuck up on me
Amazing.
because Super Bowl's happening. Yes, so it's gonna
Snuck
be
up
exciting.
on you like the demon, and you're.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, or your camera that seems to sneak
I
up
know.
closer to you each time you log into Opus. It's so funny.
You guys know what I want from Star Wars? It's kind of a crazy idea, but I want a movie. I want to see Star Wars in the theaters again. Like,
Yeah.
is that so? Like, for God's sake, it's been years. No Star Wars movie.
We shouldn't have to rely on fan films to see it in a theater, right?
Or
Yeah.
them re-premiering Rogue One to hype up
Yeah.
Andor.
I
That was the last
I love
time.
seeing that in the theater, though. I'm not gonna lie. I absolutely loved seeing that.
Oh my god, because it was like, oh my god, I'm seeing Star Wars on the big screen again. Like
it brought back so
it
many
was
memories
amazing.
seeing that movie for the first time. It was great.
Yeah.
Loved it.
My
Oh.
excuse is that I'm watching The Walking Dead right now, and I'm running a YouTube channel, and I'm writing a book, and so I'm pretty busy. I'll
Wow.
watch it. I'll watch it.
It's more or less choosing choosing where to spend your time, and he's choosing to spend his time somewhere else, which is fine. Just when you get to it, you'll get to it, and we'll have a nice long discussion because it's something we definitely need to have a stream about and talk about.
Oh yes.
It's an
Oh,
amazing
yes.
show.
There's 2 movies coming out in the next 4 years.
No, there's
Whose?
not. There's
I was
no
gonna say
way.
anytime we get wind of a movie,
Ray's coming
it
back,
falls
guys. You didn't hear?
through.
Those are rumors,
I'm
though.
just kidding. I'm just kidding. I know.
She allegedly
Yeah.
did go to she was in San Francisco at the Lucasfilm headquarters allegedly within the past few months.
Allegedly.
I would take anything. I would take
Yeah.
wait, what is Squadron? The one we were talking about, Zach, with Jude Law and 10-year-olds lost in
That's
space is
Skeleton Crew. That's another series, though.
okay. I get that mixed up with Rogue Squadron. So Rogue Squadron was supposed to be a movie or also a series?
The movie.
Skeleton Crew is a series.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
And then they have like Taika's working on something, but I would like after
I
Thor.
haven't
he
heard much
was.
about
like,
that.
Yeah, I think they scrapped it, right? I think Maria would know the issues on that. I thought they scrapped it.
I swear to God,
haven't
man, I'm so
heard.
sick of them announcing like, "Oh, so and so is working on a Star Wars movie," and it's like 2 years later, it's been scrapped. It's like,
Isn't
how
it mostly
about
Kathleen announcing these two?
Kathleen has a terrible track record with Star Wars movies. Like, she's had issues on every single production except for The Last Jedi, and we all know who that one turned out.
But she's the sole, like she's the only one that's been like announcing the films, right? It's not Dave, it's not John. No one else is announcing any of these. It's always Kathleen with her face in front of these announcements, right? And then they get scrapped every single time, pretty much. And anything that Dave and John are associated with never gets scrapped. It always gets greenlighted or moved forward or whatever. And it's just like, what is it? Is it that she's, greenlighting these projects, and then the people she puts to work together just don't work out, or like what is going on over there? It's very interesting.
I think they're a little trepidatious about returning to theaters because, I mean, they got lambasted for the sequels. Like, that was a disaster. And I just think they've been doing well with The Mandalorian, and they're getting good numbers from like Kenobi and stuff. And they feel like, oh, there's no rush to go back and do that scary movie thing because people seem to like our shows. Because there's just more pressure on a movie, like like absolutely, there's more pressure on whatever movie they make. So I get it, but I'd really like to see another Star Wars movie in theaters.
Hondo Onaga swashbuckling space pirate film, so right up his alley, and the perfect director to direct that amazing character. Dead serious.
I agree.
Yeah, he's definitely on like the eccentric and goofy side, so I think that would probably fit.
He needs to be reined in more because Thor 4 was ridiculous. Like,
it was pretty dumb. Did he write it too?
I think he did. He write it? I'll look.
But when he does, like, Marvel is a specific type of comedy. Like, Taika Waititi is hysterical. His writing for What We Do in the Shadows, like.
I don't find that show funny. That's interesting.
Are you kidding?
Yeah,
he did write it. Funny. He wrote Thor 4.
Like, it can be funny, but I don't find it, like, I can understand why it's funny, right? It's not like I don't get it, right? But it's just like I'm sitting there after like this is just first season. Like I was watching it. I watched like 4 or 5 episodes, and I'm like, I'm still not into it. So I just turned on something else.
Really?
I wasn't laughing. Like I just really wasn't laughing.
Interesting, because that show makes me like laugh.
And I love that. I wish I could. I don't know if I'm just. I don't know. Maybe I'm a different kind of humor for me. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because I tried to get Tom to watch it, and he thought it was like the dumbest thing ever.
Okay, so that maybe
so
me.
You're not alone. You're not alone.
Me and Tom share beer over that then. Yeah. Here's the thing. The only thing that Disney has ever considered retconning and actually had a conversation about was the death of Ben Solo and ending the saga.
Oh, like reviving Ben?
That movie was such
The
a
last
train wreck.
remaining.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree, Sal. Sorry. I honestly, I am more thirsty for post sequel content than ever because I think I'm in the same boat as you guys. I'm just like, I don't care. I just want Star Wars to just be good and to come back to the movie theaters. Like, even if it means it's a post sequel, or I literally don't care. I won't, if whenever the next movie gets announced, I don't even trust anymore. There's like 15, I feel like there was a period where like every other day on Twitter, there were 15 different announcements. Like, oh, so and so director allegedly has a
Yeah.
Star Wars film in the works. Oh, so and so. It was like Oprah giving out, like, that's how it felt for a short period of time. I was like, oh my God, is this the Star Wars film like renaissance? Like, has Tony Gilroy like opened the floodgates of other, showrunners or writers and directors like to have their own, show? But I feel like I don't even trust that anymore when I hear it, because how many times have we been told something is going to happen and then it gets permanently shelved? Like,
Oh
it's
yeah,
just like, I
every
understand.
single one, it gets shelved. And
Right.
one of the things I respect about Marvel is that they give you a roadmap. They're like, okay, here's the next like 5 years of what we're releasing. And it's like, cool, I know what to expect. Like, I know when a movie's coming out, I can get hyped for it. Star Wars, it's so murky. It's like I have no idea what's going on.
I can't trust anything anymore. Like, this, and also maybe it's also like, why do I barely even think about Skeleton Crew? Hasn't it wrapped? It's like finished, correct?
We haven't seen. It's supposed to come out this year, isn't it? We haven't even seen anything
There
about
is
it.
nothing. I forget. I'm so tormented as a Star Wars fan that I don't even fully accept that show is real and actually going to happen. I feel like any day, Skeleton Crew wrapped, but it's never going to premiere. Like, that's how it feels
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Star Wars fan.
Yeah, just the fact that like the normality of everything is to be cautiously optimistic, because then you won't get, your heart broken. But it's like, why should that even be a thing? Well, why is that? Why are they feeling that bad with one of the most popular, if not the most popular IP of all time? Like, what are they doing? What is happening, dude? Is it just the wrong people in the wrong positions? Are they not as passionate about it as the fans are? Like, what is happening? We need answers, and quick.
We need answers.
We need it. We need to stand out in front of Lucasfilm.
They need to come out and they need to make like an Old Republic trilogy. That's what and they need to just
They couldn't even bring back the video game, right?
I know, it's so true.
It's like it's just way too expensive. That's just all I can think of. All they care about is money. They're probably like sinking a lot of money into other projects, other things, and that aren't getting finished. And they're like, well, fuck, we need to make money somehow. And it's like, well, we can't do Old Republic because there's way too many Jedi. There's way too many special effects. There's way too many stuntmen we're gonna need if we're gonna make it good. And if it's terrible, everyone's gonna hate us even more. Like, I don't know, dude. I don't know.
What's up, Eli? I think they just need to accept that there's going to be a sect of the fandom that is going to hate whatever they do, regardless of what it is. And they need to just move on. I mean, goddamn. It just feels like we're treading water here. Like they throw us like a buoy every like year. It's like, oh, here's Mandalorian.
Or
here's
every
Ahsoka.
2 months. It's like, you guys have been playing for Disney Plus, right? Here's something to reward you for it.
But I want a movie, man. There's nothing like a Star Wars movie. It just feels bigger than anything on Disney Plus could possibly feel.
Well, Kenobi should have like been a movie. It's just it inherently raises the stakes. It's like, oh, this is a movie. It's like, and don't get me wrong, there are shows and series. I'm not saying a movie is always inherently better, but like for Star Wars, it's just something else. The way it revives the fandom and like the energy is alive. Whereas, they're dropping shows. It's like, I'd be curious to know how much of the fandom like watched Book of Boba Fett. Like, how much of the what is the percentage? If you drop a Star Wars movie, you can guarantee that, like, unless it's Solo, unless the fandom is absolutely enraged and intentionally boycotting, you can guarantee the majority of Star Wars fans will go see it. Versus, I can't say the same for all the Disney Plus content.
Yeah, you're so right. Like there's just like an energy about like when a Star Wars, like you go to the theater and like it's packed and people are like dressed up as Star Wars characters, and it's like it just feels different. I don't know if it's because I'm a Star Wars fan, but it feels different than any other like movie experience I've ever had. Like it's special, and we haven't gotten that for 3 years, and we won't get that for God knows how many more, and that's disappointing.
Yeah.
Mm.
What a sad way to end a stream.
On that note,
Wah, wah, wah.
Anyway, the Bad Batch had great 2 episodes, but now time to be
we somehow came into this. We were like on cloud 9 with how good Bad Batch is, and we just thank you
and
so.
then the more into reality we fell into, the farther down into depression and despair we became.
Question for you guys.
Yes.
To end the night. So for example, Peaky Blinders is a hugely successful show on Netflix, had 6 seasons, I believe, and it's culminating in a final film. Do you guys think that there could be the potential that they're setting up for like Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, this kind of Filoni-verse, as we've called it before, of shows and characters who are there at the right time, all intertwined storylines? Do you think there's any future in which that all culminates in a final film?
I've never seen that before.
Would be down.
I've never seen that before. That's a really cool. I didn't know Peaky Blinders was doing that. I've only seen like 2 episodes of it, so I've never really gotten into it. But
That's a whole
I definitely
different.
need to though.
It's the best freaking show
I know.
ever.
I hear nothing but good
things. That's all I will say.
I'm watching Black Sails right now, actually. It's Stars, but I think it's on Hulu.
Oh yes.
It's like another one of those like Viking type, like Vikings, but like that style of TV shows. Started watching it with Amanda the other day. We actually kind of like it, so I guess we'll see where that goes. I don't think it'll be as good as Vikings, but yes. But anyway, to answer your question, I would love that 100%. I think that would be super cool to see, because then it would bring everyone back into the theaters for like one big like swashbuckling conclusion to everything that we've seen so far, for us all to come together and to see it in like a $200 million budget movie. That'd be sick. I would love that.
I just want a movie, man. That's all I want.
I want Old Republic too, man. I just don't think we're gonna get it until they're extremely profitable and they're making way too much money. I don't think they're gonna do it.
This effort is no longer profitable.
Kathleen's gonna turn into Sid, and she's just gonna like assign everyone quests to be able to milk the audience for all they're worth. We'll see.
What if they created the movie's just a big ass like Sid mission? It's like, I need you to get me this doodad from Jabba's palace on Tatooine.
Oh my god!
Celebration, they announce a Sid like side series, and I'm just like, dude, you guys are just giving up at this point.
Zach's soul would just leave this universe.
I would have questions. I'd be like, what the fuck?
Do you think? What do you think Bob Iger is going to change? Do you think he's going to change anything?
Well, I mean, Bob Iger hasn't really been a knight in shining armor for Star Wars.
I know. What do you think he's going to change from what's already been happening? Do you think it even matters?
I don't know. I think he just lets Kathleen do what Kathleen does, and I just think that they need a shake up at leadership. I think I don't hate Kathleen like so many people do. I just think when you look at her track record, I don't think she's performed very well, and I think that her performance isn't worthy of being like retained. I think she should be given like severance, given a nice severance package, and then moves on. I
will respectfully.
Zach's secretly just like the CFO of Lucasfilm.
Yeah, Kathleen, you're fired. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, you had to find out this way.
I recognize your points. However, I think there's a lot of merit in the way people talk about her, such as Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau in behind the scenes, and they make a point to give her a shout out and be like, she is the one who has enabled us to do all this. Like, she, lets them roam free with their, like, at least the two of them.
What else are they gonna say? She sucks. Like, she's the worst.
I don't have to necessarily, but they always allude to like she lets us do our thing. Like it couldn't happen without her. I mean, she has final say in everything. No, I literally don't know what goes on over there.
She's done some good things with like the Mandalorian and stuff, but I think her failures are definitely like the movies. Like Star Wars is like one of the greatest film franchises of all time, and the film trilogy that she was heading failed. It lost like significant amounts of money with every installment. It failed to the point where people don't even want to talk about that anymore. And now we haven't gotten a Star Wars movie in 3 years. Like that's no bueno. And I just think that's not good. Like yeah, her success is on Disney Plus. Kudos to her. Like I'll give her props, but
It's probably because
the
of
movie,
the success of Force Awakens that she was like just given free reign too, right? Probably.
probably.
And then with that free reign, she didn't have a plan, and then not having a plan resulted in a lot of bad decision making and team building. I don't know. I don't know what happens.
I
but
feel like
just,
she takes the brunt of it though, because everyone knows her name.
you know,
I
100%.
feel like though
100%.
there's got to be other power players, right? That aren't name household Star Wars fan household name that contribute to those decisions or whatever. But I feel like she takes a lot of the whatever the fallout is. I feel like it all goes to her. No, I literally don't. I don't know how things work, so I could be wrong, but. Who
I
knows?
just think someone needs to answer for that. Like Star Wars should not be in the state that it
Someone
shouldn't be.
needs
Whether it's Kathleen or whoever's actually responsible, right? There needs to be something where we can go in the correct direction, right? Like we can put blame on someone and have them be like the Jesus of this, but it's just kind of like I don't know. I just we just need to go in the right direction. We can't be
Yeah.
conjointed like this.
We need like everybody. We just need to take like a fresh breath. Like sometimes that's what's good about just like moving on from like an administration or a group of people. It's like you just get new minds in the room, like fresh thinkers, and it just feels like okay, this is a new era. We're resetting. Deep breath of
Yeah.
fresh air, and then like sometimes that's what you need. Like it doesn't necessarily mean that Kathleen Kennedy's awful or like the people that she's hired around her are awful. It just means that like for whatever reason it's not working. Let's try something different.
Oh yeah, there's Acolyte coming too. Forgot about that.
I forgot
Yeah.
about Acolyte. Yeah.
Holy
Because we
shit.
get no marketing or promotion.
Yeah, we haven't even
It's
nothing.
hard
Well,
to
anyway,
remember when we get nothing. But
I gotta go, guys.
yes,
But
yes.
anyway, we went a little bit over this week, but we will be back on. Well, Zach will you do Mondays, right, Zach?
I do Mondays.
Yeah, he does Mondays for solo streams, and then we do watch parties on Tuesdays, and then today, Thursday, is our normal programming for the Evil Ewok podcast. So tune in next week, guys, whichever one of those days you guys are available, and we can have some more neutral Star Wars discussions.
Wait, we did talk about like all this on the docket.
Yeah, the
We
first
talked about
hour.
most of it. We talked about
He's just trolling. We literally talked about everything. It'd be so funny if we put like a massive docket out. We don't even talk about anything.
yeah.
We're just talking about like how our days were for like an hour. That would be really funny. Anyway, I'm exhausted. Good night,
Yep.
guys.
Thank you
and
all for tuning in.